And we're live.
Hi.
Hi. It's the AGFFA report. We're at week 11, right?
This is week 11.
Yeah. Okay. Man, last couple weeks have been weird. So week 11 preview, week 10 recap with the typical usual suspects. Got Gumby, Jeff, and Dan. How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Well, I passed my COVID test.
Oh yeah, Jeff mentioned that.
Yeah.
So
I was feeling kind of sick the last couple of weeks, I guess.
oh, yeah.
And so I had the test done and got the results, I guess, yesterday. When I finally saw I was getting emails today. Okay, get down. Go on. Get down.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're not sick with COVID, especially. So.
We're also babysitting today.
We've got a what would you call it? A gift. What do you call it? Rain check for a half a round of golf each at Tour 18 too. So we need to take care of that. When we get a chance.
I know we do.
That's awesome.
Okay.
So y'all didn't even get to play the Amen Corner?
No, we quit it with 8. And remember, 9 is the Island Green at TPC Sawgrass.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad was like, you sure you don't want to play that? And I said, nah, if you're sick, let's get out of here.
Yeah, so I wasn't feeling all that good, so I decided to hell with that shit.
Mm.
But I'll be ready to go again. Maybe next week.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
How come it looks like I'm looking off to the side?
So yeah, we are in the second to last week of the season, and
Yes.
Things are getting pretty set in stone as far as playoff seedings, matchups. At least the teams that are in it. I actually did a little bit of analysis of who's in, who's out, kind of what the likelihood of what's going to happen after this week, especially.
Right.
It's really interesting. Like Gumby's in. Mike's in, but Gumby hasn't even clinched, obviously, because he's only the one game ahead.
Oh, he clinched the playoff.
Well,
Not
I clinched
the division.
playoffs, but I didn't clinch the division because
Right.
My understanding of the way the tiebreakers would work, if I win this week against Ranger and I go into the next week, that's the week that determines who wins the division. If I win that game, I win the division. If I lose that game, it's kind of going to depend on the scores, right?
It will. The points for the breakdown, because y'all will have the same division record. It seems like
we'll have identical records, and the tiebreaker will be points for, which is awfully close right now.
Yeah.
Is it points for or points against?
It's points for.
Okay.
Yeah. So Gumby has the most points for at 1534. But Whip is close behind at 1490, so just over 40 points.
Yeah, go in the house.
Yeah, so literally every point matters.
Yeah.
Right now, even in this game this week.
I talked with Mike, and he was after telling me about how badly he was going to kick my ass this week. He was quick to say, I only scored 133 points, and this is a chance for me to close the gap with Gumby, because I think you only scored like 129 or something.
133.
Yeah, so he gained like 4 or 7 points on you, something like that. And he said that was an opportunity lost, because if he could have cut that down to like a 20-point gap over 2 weeks, could maybe overcome that.
These 2 weeks are my most bye weeks. If you look at my roster right now, I've got a lot of people out on buys, both the last week and this week. It's fortunate for me because I'm playing you and Ranger, which are not the strongest teams in the league, so that I'll get the wins probably. But the points for really matter a lot right now because Mike's team is so good.
Yeah. Who's Ranger?
Jason.
Scholes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Ranger. Okay.
Sorry.
Is that a BattleTech thing?
No, it's a D&D thing.
Oh,
from like 30 years ago.
Yeah,
okay. All right. It's an old Ranger.
Huh. Yeah. So Gumby, it's going to be interesting, especially really just next week. That's the big matchup for you. And then I saw that there's really 2 other big games. Well, maybe 3, because Dad, you're playing Jess this week, right?
Right. If I win, I think I clinch.
Oh yeah, that should do it, because you already had the first matchup win. So that'll go a long way to determining probably who's winning the division at that point.
Yeah, if I win and even lose next week and we tie, I would have her because of division record.
Yeah, you swept her head to head. You'd have the sweep on Jess. So you win this week, you clinch. This is a playoff game, basically.
Essentially, yes, it is.
And then if you win this week, you can let your players take next week off because it won't affect your seeding at all. So you can like take a little bye here.
Sure,
That's the end of the year.
sure. I'll rest them. That's
That'll
what
be an
they'll be.
advantage over Gumby and Michael because they can't do that. They got to play all the way through.
We got to play hard every week.
Yeah, you do.
Because
They're
freaking
risking
Mike's team.
injuries.
So I don't know how the conference lays out as far as playoffs are concerned. Do we not have playoffs within the conferences first? In other
Yes.
words, oh, okay. In other words, the conference championship is probably going to be Gumby and Mike,
Well,
right?
Mm-mm.
Mike looks like let's say Ballzilla wins out or just wins his division. He'll be the 1 seed. Mike will be the 3. It could flip, but one of you guys is getting 1, one of them's getting 3. And so you're not going to play each other potentially until the conference championship game.
Right.
Right, because the Super Duper Bowl is LMO against Goliad Conference, right?
Right. Just like the NFC
Okay.
versus AFC.
So for anybody from the Rice division, and that would have to be just me and Jess, would have to beat either Mike or actually both Mike and Gumby to make it to the championship game. And that's highly unlikely. So that's my prognostication.
Is there a possibility that the Ramones could backdoor their way in if somehow they get an upset this week and then win next week, or they win this week and I don't know, Bubba Gump loses the last week of the season? I don't know. I haven't gone that far.
No, there is. So I mean, Ramones is only 1 game behind Guzzlers and Bubba Gump because they're 5-5. The other teams are 6-4, and they have to win out, and they need. I think it's either of these teams just to lose out, and then they could be 7-5. Whoever wins this matchup should win the division.
Right, but Bubba Gump and Beer Guzzler can't both lose out because they're playing each other this week.
No, I know that's the thing is whoever wins that game is likely already in either as a wild card. Well, it's probably the division winner. But Ramones could sneak by if the other team loses out. So if Jess loses out, yeah, she's 6-6.
Ramones have got the tiebreaker on both Bubba Gump and Beer Guzzlers too.
Yeah.
He beat them both. So, man,
Actually, he doesn't need to win out then. He could probably be 6-6.
if he ties up, yeah, he'd need to go 6-6, and then Jess or Dad, you guys lose 1 and then lose again to be 6-6, right? So he's got paths there to make it in.
Seems pretty unlikely though.
He's got to beat you, and then he's got to beat me.
Well, one of those doesn't sound too bad,
that's
right?
a bye week there.
All right, so he's 5. What's his record right now? He's 5-5.
He's 5-5.
So if he goes 6-6, he doesn't have to win out. He just has to beat me, right?
Well, he has to beat you and then hope that Bubba Gump or basically
both
y'all
games,
don't
yeah.
both go 7-5 or some kind of, because Dad, you could win out and go 8-4. Jess goes 7-5.
Right.
Shocking that Bubba Gump has won 4 out of the last 5 to get where she's at right now. Oh, she's got to play Scabs Bolt at the end of the year, so she may end up actually. Well, I don't know. I mean, she could end up
7-5. If she loses to me, she could still end up being 7-5.
Yeah,
but that's an if. That's an if.
And you got Touch Me Down, which is it's not a pushover, but it's also not something.
It is not. That is true.
Yeah.
So Shook's got the Smith locked up then, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
On this other conference, both Hookham and Shook have clinched their division. So we have a 1 and 2 seed already, but we don't know which one is 1 and 2 yet. Shook could win out and Hookham, I think, falls. I can't remember who won the head-to-head here, but.
Okay, and Gus, you're in the driver's seat for a wild card, right?
Yeah, but just barely. I need one more win, either against Napalm, Jockstrap, or Smuffs, and I'm in. Because I mean, at best or worst case scenario, then if I get that one win, I can go 6-6. Best that Savages or Shamers could do is 6-6, and I beat both of them this year. So
Okay, yeah. So you basically got a playoff spot locked up.
yeah, I got to win one. That's all I'm saying. So.
Hook'em beat Shook. So if Hook'em wins this week, or really just wins one more time, they clinch the 1 seed. I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Or if they get, so they just need to win one of the next 2 and they got it. Or Shook loses a game.
Yeah, and I think Hook'em's toughest opponent was me in this division. So he's just got Napalm and Smuffs left. Shouldn't be too hard.
Shit, my phone's running out of fucking battery power. God damn it.
But yeah, so anyway, that's basically the playoff scenarios. Like there's a chance for Savages to get in. There's a chance for Shamers to get in. There's a chance for, I think, even M Team and Napalm to get in. They have to run the table and then certain things have to fall their way. But even Napalm could get in over me if I lose out and he wins out because he would beat me head to head.
Who did, so M Team ended up winning last week then against the Shamers.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bit of an upset, I think. I don't know.
I think we always thought he had a good team. He just kind of ran into some bad luck this year.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I'm looking at this for like who's got the first overall pick cinched up here, and it looks like it's between me and Asmus. So, all right. I don't care. I'll take second overall pick. Maybe.
Yeah, second's not too bad.
Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah, so big games this week. Beer Guzzlers, Bubba Gump for sure. I think Savages Shamers is the other big game, and then Dynasty Napalm Jockstrap. And this Dynasty Jockstrap game is just, if I win, I'm in. It closes a lot of paths for these other teams. So let me go ahead and go to the games for the week.
What was the record for fewest points scored in a game? Do you remember, Gus?
I looked at this the other day. So apparently it was, it was that one team, Route 44, I think. They had the least amount ever up until we changed kind of scoring a little bit, slightly. Here, I'll find it real quick. Here it is.
I don't know why I'm not
Turkey.
getting this on my damn laptop.
Wild Turkey, 34. Okay. That's
34 for Wild
34?
Turkey up till 2013.
How do you score 34 points in a game?
Lots of people on the line.
You could start all the Dallas Cowboys and get 34 this year.
If I remember right, he would tend to mail it in. That was Wayne. Wayne. Wayne's a good dude, but when it came to fantasy football, he got steamrolled.
He was a little out of his element.
Yeah,
He's also on the lowest combined score, down just a little bit.
Yeah, that was that week. He had 34 points.
You won a game with 100 points.
I will never apologize for winning, but I do want to point something out. Lowest scoring team single game since 2014. The Ramones beat his own record with a 45-point game this past week.
Yeah. So
yeah, congrats. Good job, Ramones.
How did he only get 45 points?
Topped.
Wait, his quarterback can score 45 points.
Not last week.
How did that even happen?
He had a rough week.
I would say so. Russell Wilson had 20 points. Yeah, 19.8. That's not good. Oh
yeah.
my God.
And he had a decent lineup, but Broncos let him down. -7.
But man.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's every player on his team underperformed. And not by a little bit. Manny got 1.5. I guess it's one catch for 5 yards.
Look at those projected versus actual.
Yeah. He wasn't projected to win.
Not against Whip.
Gosh,
He wouldn't have been
Whip
projected to
tripled
win.
up on him.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a rough week, but yeah, good catch, Jeff. He set the record. I'm gonna have to make a note of that.
That's rough. That's real rough.
Yeah.
When you see a number like that, it kind of stands out.
You know, this past week pissed me off so much because obviously y'all watched some of the highlights or some of the games. Did y'all see the ending of that Cardinals Buffalo Bills game with the DeAndre Hopkins Hail Mary?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that was what, a 40, 50-yard pass for a touchdown?
I don't see how he rolled out too, and I don't see how he rolled out and threw the ball like that. That was astonishing.
Yeah, I mean, Hookham had Hopkins, so that was an 11-point play maybe, and I lost by 9. Like it hurt. I saw it happen. I was like, God damn it, you're gonna win because of that. And I still had a chance. All I needed was Mooney to come back and have something. But God, I hate my team. It's like if freaking Mahomes doesn't go off, I know I'm only gonna get like 80 points. So
Yeah, that Chicago offense was awful. I watched that game. That Chicago offense looked. I think college defenses could have handled them.
yeah.
It didn't look like the Minnesota defense was just anything special. It just looked like the Chicago offense was just ridiculously bad.
Yeah, and I haven't checked in a while, but I think Foles is injured now.
Yeah, he got hurt bad. That looked
Yeah.
rough. I don't know if you saw the way he went down, but it looked like he might have died on that football field.
Oh wow.
He got kind of flipped and bent, like he got bent in half. Like human bodies aren't supposed to do that.
Well, I mean, I hope he recovers. I always thought it was awesome when he helped the Eagles win that Super Bowl.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Dad. All right. So anyway, I'll go back to the this week's slate of games if y'all are ready.
Sure.
Yeah. So first game on the docket is my team versus Napalm Jockstrap. Currently projected for 157.4 points.
Hello?
Hey,
Dan.
we hear you. Can you hear us? Dad, can you hear us? Hello?
Sounds like a no.
Okay.
I'm gonna text him, tell him to check his volume.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm up against Napalm. I mean, I got
You
really
guys hear
lucky
me?
this week.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes.
Okay, now I need to figure out why my headphones aren't working.
Dad, I'm gonna mute you
Okay.
just for a little bit.
No, I'm on now. I'm on.
Okay, okay. Anyway, what I was trying to say, I got lucky this week. I got Kalen Balaj, who I think he's a 1-week fill-in, but I'll take it over my other running backs, Dobbins, Zach Moss, Alexander Madison. I would hope that's going to be enough with Mike Davis having another week to play instead of Christian McCaffrey. And, you know, having Kelsey back, having Mahomes back to take care of business for this week, get in the playoffs, and I don't even care what happens in week 13 or week 12 then. So I'm feeling good about this week, but I have never beaten Napalm Jockstrap in my whole career.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
Yeah. And his team looks good too for having like 137 projected points. I think it's one of the highest this week that isn't Whip, Ballzilla, and I guess my team. So, and Shook and, you know, the other really good teams. So, but I feel comfortable going back to myself being picked this week. So that's who I'm going with.
Okay, after scurrying around here, and I'm on my laptop now. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this stupid shit, but you got Patrick Mahomes. That's enough for me. I take you.
Yeah, I think that Gus has got this one. I don't think there's any question really.
Yeah, same here.
Thanks, y'all. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I did track our winnings or picks from last week. Everybody went 7-1. Jeff, myself, and Gumby, except for you, Dad. You went 6-2. So
That's a
What
shame.
was the one we lost on?
Jeff, you lost on the Smuffs. You picked the Smuffs over Napalm Jockstrap last week. And the rest of us, you and me, Gumby, we picked Touch Me Down over Bubba Gump. I keep not picking my wife to win, and she keeps winning, so I think she'll be all right if I keep doing it. All right, Touch Me Down and Scabs Bolt. So first thing I notice is Scabs hasn't updated his lineup. Go figure. And he has Devontae Parker or Amari Cooper he could throw in for Brandon Ayuk. Other than that, though, I don't think he really has a good option for changing out running backs or whatever. So, but anyway, he could throw that in 13 so points, and it's a much closer matchup against Touch Me Down.
That's almost a coin flip.
Yep.
If he does that right.
Yeah, it looks like it. I saw that he picked up Carson Wentz because I dropped him this past week. So, and Wentz is projected for a couple more points than Cam Newton, so he might throw him in. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's a tough one. It really is. Because every time I look at, like, I'll look at Scabs Bolt and say, well, I like Deshaun Watson, so I want to lean that way. But then I look at Joshua Kelly and versus Derrick Henry and go, yeah, but, you know, Touch Me Down's got better running backs. And then wide receivers, I like Keenan Allen, but it's kind of a push. Mm-hmm. Marquise Brown, I think, is not good. It's I don't know. I don't like the Baltimore Ravens passing attack whatsoever, and I don't need to elaborate on that. I think a lot of people feel that same way.
Their passing attack seems to be designed to take defensive backs out of Lamar's way.
Yeah, because those are the only guys that can catch him if he breaks out in the open. You know, I think that the big part, you know, I'm going to go with Scabs Bolt, and I'm going to go with Scabs Bolt, hoping that Tennessee shuts down Baltimore. That way I have a rooting interest in that game.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Scabs Bolt because I don't think that Henry's going to have a super great day against Baltimore's defense, and I don't think Marquise Brown ever has good days.
Carlos Hyde isn't playing, is he?
That's another thing too, is Carlos Hyde is playing against Arizona, which is always high scoring. So how much is the running really going to matter in Seattle?
I thought Carlos Hyde was hurt or some crap, but
says he was a full participant the other day at practice. So
okay, all right.
He's probably back, but against Arizona, they're not going to be running the ball a lot, I wouldn't think.
Right.
That's why I think Scabs has got this one.
And before we go on to the next game, wait, Dad, did you make your pick?
I think I'd go with, assuming that Scabs Bolt updates his lineup, I would take him.
I'm going to go and take Touch Me Down. I you know, projections are going his way, and I don't know what you guys are talking about. Marquise Brown, you don't think he's good? I guess the offense might be a question mark, but I think he's still a pretty good playmaker. And I don't know.
His average.
No, I get the average and everything, but I think he's also had some pretty decent games this year. 15, 19. Okay, so lately not very good, but I don't know. I got to take a chance one way or another. So
their passing game sucks. That's why.
Yeah, but it's the threat of Lamar Jackson doing, you know, the option, run, pass, whatever. I'd be worried to play the Ravens no matter what team, you know.
Right.
It's going up against. What were you going to say though, Jeff?
So if I can be a Steelers homer for a second here, I don't know if you guys saw that ESPN had a list of the top 10, you know, rookies in the NFL in 2020. And on that list of top 10 rookies, they had T. Higgins listed as a top 10 rookie. And notably absent from that list was a certain gentleman that you may have heard of called Chase Claypool.
Get the fuck out of here.
When was that list?
I think it was just came out today or yesterday or last night. Chase Claypool is not even on the honorable mention list.
He's got 9 touchdowns.
I know.
9.
He's on pace for 18 touchdowns this year. I know. But for whatever reason, T. Higgins is on there now. And if you're looking at his fantasy stats, that could be a reason why, because he's having a pretty good fantasy season. without a doubt.
Yeah, this is
But
pretty impressive, actually.
I haven't seen T. Higgins make the kind of contested catches that Chase Claypool has been making, when he gets the ball thrown to him on a fairly regular basis. The toe tappers, the tough ones on the sidelines, the one in double coverage last week amongst his two touchdowns last week.
What round did the Steelers get him in?
Second.
As a steal.
We're good at picking receivers.
He's been phenomenal. He's been nothing short of phenomenal.
Yeah, so not being in the top 10 of the rookies is on offense anyway is fucking ridiculous.
He's
got to be leading rookies on touchdowns.
I'm sure he is. I think he's a touchdown leader for wide receivers.
Nine.
He's got 2 rushing touchdowns and 7 receiving touchdowns, I think.
Correct.
Well, yeah, that's messed up.
Those numbers don't reflect just how he changes how defenses play the offense. I mean, he is a matchup nightmare. He absolutely is. But anyway, that's me being a homer. Next game. All right, cool.
Shook going up against M Team. Shook already has the division locked up. It's not like he wants to rest. He could get a 1 seed or whatever. But seeding does matter. I think the 4 seed could be potentially Savages. He's one of the better teams going in there. And I think we talked about this, Jeff, but week 13, that's when Carolina has their bye week.
Yeah.
So he has Christian McCaffrey, and if there's any time you want to play Savages, it would be that week. So anyway, Shook is got a 20-point advantage here for this matchup. I guess I'm a little shocked to see Kamara and Robinson are both questionable, but that's probably not going to last.
Okay, so I talked with Shook Justin yesterday. Last night we were texting back and forth, and he was saying, my defense is on a bye this week, and I'm not sure if I want to pick up another defense because I don't want to drop anybody. And I was like, well, can you afford to lose a game? And he said, well, I think we went through the whole thing. I said, oh, you're playing Monty, so you're probably going to win that game. No disrespect to Monty, but I said, you probably don't have to even pick up a defense if I had to guess. And I looked at his roster and I said, dude, if you want to pick up a defense, you should drop Larry Fitzgerald or Nelson Aguilar or Hunter Renfrow. I said, when are you ever going to start those guys?
Yeah.
There's no scenario where you're going to start any of those things. So you might as well drop one of them to just get a defense and pick it up. But I don't know. I guess he hasn't done that yet. But
I mean, obviously there's a risk with picking up defenses. Sometimes they could give you negative points, but Browns are still out there against Philly. That doesn't seem too bad.
Right. They're projected for 10-point, whatever.
Maybe Panthers versus Detroit. I don't know. There's options out there that shouldn't give you negative points.
And if he takes the Panthers and Monty starts, what's his face? He's got a defense up against that quarterback. So,
yeah,
any
interceptions are double points, basically.
It's true.
Yeah, but Monty had a good game last week. It was pretty impressive. And like I've said, his team always looked pretty good, just kind of ran into some bad luck. Josh Jacobs, I guess, did pretty well last week. That helped him out. He's got some of his Dallas guys back, so I'm sure he's happy about that. I don't know. Anyone want to take the upset here?
Nope.
Yeah, I can't do it. All right, Smuffs it is. Or not Smuffs, Shook all the way down. All right. Shamers versus Savages. This is the let's say the second big game of the week because we already went over mine and Napalm. It looks so bad right off the bat, but I know they haven't updated their lineup. So yeah, Josh Allen's out, their flex is out, and the defense is out for Savages. And I guess he doesn't have a quarterback yet to replace him with. That's crazy. Huh.
Well, looks like what's his face from Dallas. Looks like he's going to have to pick up
Wow, there's 3 options and really maybe just 2, Flacco and Ripien.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
wow. Brett Rippon is good, man.
Did he have a good game that one time he started? 23 points. That was against the Jets too. 3
not good,
interceptions.
not good, not good.
All right, I take it back. He sucks. I saw him in the preseason once and thought, man, he's pretty good.
Flacco got 40 points last time he played.
Is that Mark Ripien's son? I think it is.
I think it is. Yeah.
Flacco's elite.
Oh yeah, that's an elite guy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's doing some kind of strategy. He thinks he could win without a quarterback. I don't know. It's bold.
It is bold.
Bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it works out.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, he
So
needs a quarterback. The Hall of Shamers needs a quarterback too.
But he has Matt Ryan on the bench.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
So, I mean, if you do that, it bumps it up to a 40-point advantage. You take Flacco, okay, now it's down to 10-point advantage. And then, yeah, he still has a defense and a flex that he has to put in, which he hasn't got either. I guess he has a flex available.
he's got Ezekiel Elliott on the bench. Why is that?
That's true. I don't know.
This is a bye week.
No, they're playing Miami or Minnesota.
Last week.
Yeah, last week.
That's
So
why.
he's got to update that. He could put him in as a flex if nothing else.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to end up being like a 10-point game favoring Savages.
Yeah. It's probably a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em.
I'm
Well,
going to
my
go with
pick
the
is-
upset. I'm going to pick Shamers. I think the loss of Josh Allen this week's really going to hurt.
I'm taking Savages.
I am too.
Same.
All right. No, Dusty, I gave you a lot of crap this year if you listen to this thing, but I believe in you this week. Just fix that damn lineup. You have a chance. All right. The other big game of the week. Your team dead versus Bubba Gump.
Yeah, it's a playoff game. It's a playoff game.
It is, and I mean, looking at all these check marks, you got a lot of advantages. Your tight end, yeah, that looks terrible.
Well, you know.
But I mean, everything else you'll take, right?
Absolutely. And Tyler Lockett, I got to keep a close eye on him because the way it's standing, I've got 3 players today. But I picked up, what is it, David Moore? So if I have to, I'll put him in.
How'd you feel last week when Nick Chubb went out at the 1-yard line?
I was okay with that. He did well. I mean, I don't know, what was it, 18 points?
Yeah, it could have been 25 points or
right. So
4.7.
He's looking good. It's good to have him back on the roster. So he'll be a threat. At least I got somebody that's, now my number 1 pick is back. So, or my first rounder is back.
I'll go ahead and just say it. I'm picking you dead because every time I pick against Jess, she's won. So there you go.
Okay. She's got quarterback issues herself. I don't know about if Bridgewater's going to be in or not. And if he's not, then she goes with Tannehill, but he's up against Baltimore, and that's a tough matchup. So,
right.
She's going to have to make some decision on that.
Every week she has a tough time between like Danny Amendola and Keelan Cole and Traquan Smith or just whoever's available as a flex, or I guess a second wide receiver in this case. Whatever. Basically, Danny Amendola. She always has him in just because of projections. And, I mean, I guess she picked up this Michael Pittman Jr. this week. So she slides that person in for an extra 4 or 5 points to make it closer.
Right. Well, she's got Dante Johnson. I got Chase Claypool. So, match those 2 up against each other and see what happens.
It'll be fun to watch. What Gumby and Jeff, what do y'all think?
Sure. Dan's got it.
Hi, Gumby.
I think Dan's got it.
So if you look down at the points scored by week, guess if you scroll down there, basically if they played each other every week right now, they would have a 500 record. So if you look at it, although they may have won 2 in a row, then they lost 2 in a row later on. It's really pretty cool when you look at it and you go, man, these 2 teams are 500 against each other. And that's pretty cool. I'm going to pick you to win this one. I keep hoping that Pittsburgh's like figuring out something. And last week was one of those games where we actually played a full 4 quarters in bad weather and kicked the ever-living shit out of the Bungles. I think we probably, if what I saw was correct, which was a dominant team beating up a team that they should beat,
Right.
then the same will hold true against Jacksonville, and we'll kick the shit out of Jacksonville. So I think you have a lot of upside on your roster, and I think you got the better team this week. You go punch your ticket.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Well, I'm taking me too, obviously.
Yeah. I want to go ahead and congratulate both of you for getting to this point in the season after the draft. Y'all were the joke of the draft for sure.
Well, I don't know about joke. It was just the circumstances led themselves to that, you know?
Sure, but it was just like, oh, wow, this is such a tough situation. And, Jess with her 80th pick for the first that she had in the draft. And it was just, it was going to be hard to see y'all busting through even just a wild card spot. But yeah, y'all are.
Well, I made a couple
light
of trades.
expectations.
I think that helped. And that was Tyler Lockett. Who was the other one I traded for? Oh, I guess I got
Well, you
Le'Veon
got
Bell.
Le'Veon Bell too.
Yeah, but
and Allen Robinson and stuff.
Yeah, Allen Robinson.
I just think it's interesting. Both you and Jess, y'all gave up a lot, with Kittle, and she gave up Mahomes, but y'all came back in and got some other stuff too. So it's just, I'm impressed. So good job, y'all.
Yeah, I'm happy with the way things have turned out so far. I don't expect, like I said, if I win the division, I don't expect to get past that first playoff game because it's going to be either Mike or Ballzilla.
It's any given Sunday though. Like I beat
that's
Shook this
true.
year. You beat Jeff this year when they had really good teams. Anything
I beat Shook the week after you did.
Yeah, right. So anything's possible. Yeah. So here's the Ramones versus Ballzilla. Ramones, I think, needs to win one of the next 2. This would be icing, right? Just a little cushion if they could pull this off.
Ramones doesn't have a tight end on the bench to fill in, so that's problematic.
No, he has Taysom Hill. That's actually pretty interesting.
He can't start Taysom Hill.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting this week. I'm curious to see how that plays out.
If there's ever a week to start him, this might be it.
Yep.
Yeah, Gumby. Actually, I'd be worried right now. That's gonna be interesting. I'm serious. Like, how can he not get a couple snaps at quarterback, throw the ball as well,
right?
And then he still gets to do his option run plays, play tight end, whatever it is. They're gonna use him all over the field with Breeze out now. I know they were kind of already doing that, but it's gonna be even more. I bet.
That's
enough to overcome a 24 point disadvantage though.
Well, so right off the bat, I don't think he's only getting 5.4 points. I think he's getting double digit this week. And then, I don't know. I guess James White, maybe Rex Burkhead instead. That's an extra 6 points. It does get a little bit closer, I think.
Sure. He scored in double digits 2 out of the 3 past 3 weeks. So
who, Rex?
This could be a game where he comes up even bigger than usual.
Interesting. I can't pick against Ballzilla though. I mean, it's like roulette, right? It's been red every single time. Is this the time you bet black or whatever? But I'm gonna go with the trend.
Could happen. It could happen.
I'm gonna take Ballzilla too. I'm not gonna talk myself into taking the underdog in this game against an undefeated team in week 11. So
Dalvin Cook against Dallas is a lot of points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless the last time we saw the Cowboys defense, that is what they're going to be, moving forward.
Aaron Rodgers will have a down week because he's against Indiana, but
Rush should come back this week against Arizona.
You got yeah. Oh, you're starting AB as well, huh?
Yeah, I got some receivers on bye because Diggs is on bye.
That's pretty risky.
Giovanni Bernard too that you could always throw in somewhere. That's interesting.
I don't want to understand why they're projecting that guy at 14.
Well, I saw it this morning that
Mixon out.
Mixon's projected for 0 now, so they're expecting him not to play.
Oh,
Right.
Yep.
I'll have to take a look at that.
It's nice to have that option, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when Mixon's out, Bernard scores pretty good, but when Mixon's in, he doesn't really do much. A couple of passes. That's about it.
Yep. So,
What's the story with,
Gumby, I'm guessing yourself, right?
Yep.
What's the story with Calvin Ridley?
He's got an ankle, and if I had to swap him out, it'll be AJ Green going in.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's a down.
He's had a couple weeks off, though, so I guess he didn't play Denver. And they had the bye week, so now he's coming back.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I might feel better. I might even feel better losing this than I can get that out of the way. Not lose anymore.
Yeah.
Of course,
I cannot believe
say that you're sliding into the playoffs.
I'm sitting here at 10-0, and I haven't even clinched the division yet.
You clinch a playoff spot, though.
Hey, Mike.
That's a big deal.
Hey, Mike.
Dad, who you picking?
What is it? With Jameis or, what's his face? Taysom Hill. Oh, wait. He has Taysom Hill. Here's that guy, right? He needs to put him in the tight end. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could really screw things up. I can't go against Ballzilla either.
They start Taysom Hill at quarterback, and he's listed as a tight end in the software. He essentially gets 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's the thing. He could throw a touchdown. He could catch a touchdown.
That was the whole point this year, like him having that dual designation is maybe you want to draft him early to lock that up if it's a good play, but it hasn't worked out at all this year.
If I lose because my opponent got to start 2 quarterbacks, I'm really not going to feel bad about that.
Yeah, that's a good
Shit
point.
happens. That's a weird thing that just happens sometimes.
I'll still take
Rick something to brag about forever.
I'll still take Ballzilla, but that might be a closer game than we think. Only because, Russ Wilson may go off in that game too.
Yeah.
That's going to be a high-scoring game, I think.
Could be.
It better be, because I have 3 Arizona players, or whatever. I got Seattle and Arizona up the yin-yang in my roster.
All right, so it looks like next game is Hook'em and Smuffs. First thing I noticed is Chris Carson says 0 projected. I thought I saw this morning he was fine. Who was the person we just saw that was
Carlos
crazy?
Hyde or
Yeah, Carlos Hyde.
Carlos Hyde, and that's for Seattle, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what it is. So he's probably getting the bulk of the carries if Carson's sitting. So, I mean, the thing that's interesting is Hook'em is still projected to beat Smuffs. Smuffs, I mean, it's an off year for him.
why does he have DeAndre Hopkins on the? Oh, he's in the lineup.
Yeah, he's in the lineup.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see an upset happening here. I'm gonna go Hook'em.
Same.
I will too.
You gonna complete the pick, Jeff, or?
It's tough, but I think I'm going to have to. I'm just kind of scanning through here, and I don't, obviously, okay, so the deal that I'm looking at here is that with Carson out, it doesn't look like Hook'em has like a real viable running back to plug in there. Brian Hill, I guess, but I don't know if he's really done a whole lot, even though I don't know.
No.
Yeah, he's had 1 good game. All right, so that's not good. DJ Dallas, DJ Dallas. Okay, so he had a really good game 3 weeks ago, and then an okay game 2 weeks ago, and then he looked like shit last week.
2
But
carries.
again, I thought he was hurt too for some reason. No, okay. Carson's expected. All right, so DJ Dallas may be the guy to put in there, and if so, I would say he's going to get more than 4.6 points. So
Probably.
okay, so that gets him up to 30, about 30, and then on the other side, Asmus is going to have to swap out a running back, and he's got Kerryon Johnson or Philip Lindsay. Yeah, all right, give me Hookem. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Smuff's going to have a tough finish to the year. So,
Yeah.
all right, last game of the week. Probably the easiest one to pick. Sorry, Jeff.
Whereas
Pups versus Whip, and Whip is projected by 56 points. So, yeah, Whip is just, I mean, he's easily closing in on Ballzilla for points for and the record and all that stuff. So it's going to be so hard to pick against him. He's got a great bench too still. Yeah, and he picked up Jameis just in case like something happens with Kyler Murray, I guess.
I think he did that as a block.
Oh,
Probably.
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, Mike likes to do that. He does like to foresee what his opponents are going to need and then pick up a player so they can't get their top guy, if they don't put that at the top of the waiver. He plays the waiver as a game within the game.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm sorry. I mean, I can't pick you. Just can't do it. I need the easy wins in this thing.
Yeah, take the win, But would you give me 56.1 points?
Like as a handicap?
Yeah.
Okay, I would do this. I'd give you 40 points. I still think he's going to win. Oh, my God. I mean, Whip's just that good. I think there's a way to look at all his games the last several weeks, right? And he's...
What's the questionable about Devonta Adams?
Whip has 137, 183, 156, 165, 142, 132. So there's a little stretch he was at 120, but ever since then, it's great games. So anyway,
the past 3 weeks, if we'd have played each other, Whip would have beat me by 80.5, 98, and 72. So
I think the 56-point spread is a little generous.
Well, if you'd have taken the past 3 weeks, you'd have won.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like I said, Jeff, I mean, I would give you 40 points. I still would pick Whip. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna triple play Whip as well.
All right.
And I'd take the under on my point total.
Yeah.
You guys too? Whip, easy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this might be the 1 week. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sweeps. It's crazy. I didn't see that happening. So.
Well, what do we differ on? What are the differing games?
Scabs and Touch Me Down, which, it's just whatever.
It's kind of a coin flip game anyway.
Yeah. And then Savage's Shamers, which is actually a pretty important game for our division or our conference. Man, Savages looked so good too for a while, and I don't know what happened to them. I mean, look at that. They've lost 5 of the last 6.
They scored 150 points in a loss.
Yeah, scored 149 in the loss last week. That's rough, man. Scored 154 and lost in week 1.
Yeah, Ballzilla, you beat him by 2 points. Less than 2.
That was a messed up game too, because if the Chiefs had not scored a touchdown at the very end of the game, like with it just seconds left, and had settled for a field goal instead, he would have won because he had Butker.
Oh, that was that game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I bet
That was
you
that
he's
close.
pretty high up in points against. If I had to take
Look
a
at the
guess.
numbers. Of course, look at that. Nobody scored. What's the lowest one against him? 101.
Yeah, and everything else has been way over.
So in points against, yeah, he's third highest points
Third
against.
highest. And those are all really close numbers there.
And
those
lowest
top
is Whip and Ballzilla.
But it doesn't really matter because if you look at points for, we're both on
Yeah,
top
I
of
know,
that
I know.
anyway.
That gap is
So-
is so large. So I've been so lucky. 1164. Still only 5-5. So.
Yeah. That means that must mean you're no, you're 5-5. Okay, so all right. It's fairly good split.
I am what I thought I am.
You went into the season going, I'm gonna be 500.
My goal was a playoff berth. All right. Well, yeah, you guys, it's been fun. I know next week might be tough with Thanksgiving. So we don't always have to have a podcast, but if you guys are available on Wednesday, I'll have the day off, and Jess will be off
Well,
too. She might even be available.
If both Mike and I win this week, next week's podcast should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that'll be a preview of the Super Duper Bowl, I think. Well,
Well-
no, you guys can't make it to the Super Duper.
No, this is
Bowl.
more
Well,
like
only one
the-
of you.
This is more like the early 90s Cowboys and 49ers,
Oh yeah.
where they couldn't
Yeah,
play in the Super
yeah.
Bowl, but that was kind of the Super Bowl.
More than likely, although I'm not going to discount Shook's capability of throwing up a massive point total.
Oh no, Shook is really good, and he's made 180 plus points. How many times this year?
Let's see,
He's got the only
one,
200-point game.
He's got the only 200-point game.
2, 3. He's got
Look at
3
that.
games over at 180. He's got another one with 178. Even in his loss to Hookham, he threw up 141. That's that's normally gives you a pretty good shot of winning. 140-point game's pretty all right.
Yeah, he's put together a really good team,
He
And
made
he
up for it by
maintained it.
barely beating Smuffs, though.
and he survived the Dak Prescott injury too
Mhm.
with a good trade with you.
Yeah, that trade really went to his benefit. I mean, those are some good players you gave him, Jeff, for what seemed like nothing.
That was nothing. That's why I kept saying you're losing your touch there, Jeff. That was the Brady and Evans and somebody else for.
Jeff was spreading the wealth in that trade.
So
He had so many players to trade off, and it was
Shook's-
like not just on one team. He's spreading it out.
who did you
Yeah,
end up
so gotta
trading?
make it even.
Did
who'd
you get
end
a
up trading
first
your
round
wide
pick out of
receiver
that?
to?
I'm going in with my original first-round pick, but I think I've got extras in like the second and maybe second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. I got a bunch of the early round picks. I got 1 or 2 extras mixed in there.
Who'd you trade your wide receiver to?
Which one? I got 2
New Orleans
wide
dude. I can't think of
receivers.
his name all of a sudden.
Traded that to
Michael Thomas.
Yeah. Who got that?
Michael.
That's probably going to be that Drew Brees injury was pretty rough on that trade.
Well, and he's been out most of the year too. So
Yeah. That seems like a trade that worked out very much in your favor as the way things turned out.
Yeah.
This is
'Cause
the draft board
Yeah.
currently, but without like where everyone's going to end up. So
So I got 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and 2 in the seventh. Man, it's pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna have a lot of depth, hopefully.
but once you get 16 players, you're done, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which
Well,
means
you
I'm
can
gonna
have-
take a defense early.
You can have two starting lineups before we get to the 10th round.
That's the idea.
Yep. So who cares about pick 13 through 16?
With all the first round picks that have been bust this past year, I know that doesn't happen every year, of course, but starting to think, defense and depth is the way to go, like just stockpile a bunch of guys who can be, guys
Well,
who can do
if you
stuff.
if you look at where I picked, so you look on this draft board, right? I picked what, 5th? 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, sixth. I'd have taken, if you told me on draft day I could have had any of those picks that were ahead of mine when I got Dalvin Cook there, I'd have been like, fuck yeah, give me those dudes.
Oh yeah.
But Cook has been much better this season than those guys, like a lot.
I know
better.
that. I know that
Yeah.
in all the preseason draft mock draft things that I was doing on ESPN, I was targeting and getting Dalvin Cook on all of those, and you picked him. So
Well, he
I
wasn't-
got
He wasn't
got
going to
who
fall all the way down there though.
I don't know. If you go back to what our draft was,
Hey, you got the draft board handy?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of interesting to look at that at this time of the season.
That's a good idea.
Let's see.
all my mock drafts, basically I was getting Dalvin Cook, and it wasn't him; it was Nick Chubb, and I got the other one. So,
So what are y'all looking for?
Dalvin Cook.
I would
Anyways,
not have taken. I would not have taken CEH there.
Yeah, I would have done that.
No.
I don't think that was a good pick, but I think the other 4 in front of that were good.
Henry was a surprising pick at 2, but that does not hurt him at all.
No, that was a
because
good
he
pick.
dodged-
But what
he
I'm looking at
dodged
is
Saquon Barkley, you know?
below that. Okay, Josh Jacobs, you might have taken him. I don't think you would have taken Joe Mixon
Nope.
or Kenyon Drake. You might have taken Nick Chubb. You might have taken
Aaron
Aaron
Jones.
Jones.
Aaron Jones probably. I mean, I thought Aaron Jones was going to go way earlier. He slipped a lot, and part of that was because Mike took Kenyon Drake because Aaron Jones should have gone there at Whip's pick in the first round.
Yeah, Aaron Jones falling way down there. I think that was a part of that CEH pick too.
Yeah,
I would have picked Jones way above CEH.
You know what's
Aaron
really helped
Jones-
you out this year,
What's
Gumby?
that?
Diggs in the 5th.
yep.
That's a steal.
When we got there, I couldn't believe he survived the 4th or even really the 3rd.
Yeah.
Well, you could make a case for him falling because he's going to a new team with an offense that doesn't throw the ball historically. I mean, it makes sense now, but I don't think anybody anticipated Josh Allen becoming, a top 4 quarterback in fantasy football, 3 or 4 years into his career. He's a good running quarterback, but to your point, Gumby, that was good patience and also saying, you know what, 5th round, that's great value. That was a good move. That was a really solid move there.
I mean, he was really good when he was in Minnesota, and I don't think he ever really had great quarterback play there.
Yeah, he was good, but it's just risky going to a new offense, an offense with a running team, and all that. But look at all the 2nd round picks that have kind of been busts too. Okay, so besides Michael Thomas, we already went over that, but has Kenny Golladay been great?
When he's healthy, he's actually all right, but he hasn't been that healthy.
Odell Beckham, he's been hurt. Juju's been good, but he's really unpredictable. I mean,
Yeah, but he
just throws the open guy. He doesn't care.
Yeah, but he's getting pretty consistent now. But that may have been a little bit high for him on the draft. And Mike Evans always looks good, but he kind of had a rough season and still having kind of a rough season, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's gosh, I don't know. The only thing that was keeping him afloat early in the year was, 1 or 2 yard touchdown passes, little fades in the end zone, because he wasn't getting any targets at all. I think he's starting to pick it up now, but Mark Ingram, Melvin Gordon was hurt for a good chunk of the year. Ertz has been hurt. I don't know about Julio. I suspect Julio's probably been playing well.
He's been in and out of the lineup. He's been injured a lot.
Alvin Kamara is the MVP.
Yeah, he was a keeper though.
He was a keeper.
Yeah, he always will be. AJ Brown. I don't know about AJ Brown or David Johnson. David Johnson had a really good week 1. I don't remember much.
That's right, he did.
That Houston, they run like a committee there, really, don't they?
It's more like a bell cow situation.
Yeah, it's just not. I don't.
They're just not a good team. Their offensive line is way underperforming. than what it's done in years past.
Hasn't injuries also like forced them to go into like playing multiple running backs too, or?
Well, I not that I remember for some of these games. David Johnson just they would always get in a bad negative game script, and they're not running as much. They're trying to dink and dunk and go for the long ball. So.
All right, so they've just been playing themselves out of it.
Yeah.
Third round was pretty good though. I mean, it still looks like it's a pretty good round. You know, taking away, of course, Le'Veon Bell.
Was Adam Thielen a keeper or for the Savages, or was that a pick at that point?
No, it was a pick.
That's a good pick.
Yep.
That guy's a touchdown machine.
DJ Moore might be a little shaky there, but only because Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf have been blowing up. You know,
Lockett's a good pick there too, I think.
He's always good, but he never gets any respect, you know?
He's not flashy.
No.
He was 49.2 point flashy for me the week that I got him in a trade. So, hey.
Yeah.
See,
In the Houston League, he set the record for most points scored by a wide receiver for this guy right here.
wait, you picked up, was Allen Robinson a pick there in the third round for you?
Yeah, and I hated it. I don't like Allen Robinson, but I think the thing I've had to adjust on is it's not Allen Robinson that's the problem. It was that douchebag quarterback they had who's a problem. What was his name? I don't even remember his name now because he sucks so bad.
Trubisky and
Trubisky.
Sucksky.
Yeah, it wasn't Allen Robinson. It was because I remember Allen Robinson's stat line last year was it always resembled something like this: 13 targets, 6 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown. You're like, 13 targets? Come on, man, catch the ball, right? Well, the problem is that those targets are like 8 feet over his head, you know, or they worm burn into the ground in front of him because Trubisky sucks. At least with Foles in there, Foles is getting the ball to him, and he's looking really good now. But at the time, I hated making that pick because I was like, I know this game. I know what will happen here.
Yeah, but Amari Cooper, was that a keeper from somebody?
Nope.
Adam Thielen wasn't a keeper.
Nope.
DK Metcalf wasn't a keeper.
Nope.
Lockett. I mean, Lockett would have been the one I would have thought could have gone there.
I think he had some better options.
I had some biases against Tyler Lockett that I've had to shake. I looked at, I'm not going to try to justify it. I'll just say when I saw Allen Robinson, I saw he's going to get a lot of targets. That's what I was looking at. You know, give me 150 targets. I'll take it. The other guys, I knew Lockett, but I never really, I had a bias against him, and I don't know what it was. Just like Tyler Lockett. No, I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong, and I'll admit that. Lockett should have been the pick here, absolutely. Leonard Fournette was kind of I don't think he's done squat. Was Leonard Fournette cut? No, it says he's with Tampa Bay there.
Where was he picked?
Okay, so that must have happened like shortly before
there
the
it is.
draft. Yeah. So that's a risky one too.
Was that was a extra pick he had?
Yeah, it looks like it. Actually, that was mine, I think.
Yeah, that's even if he'd have still been in Jacksonville, I don't think, and been the featured Cal Belka, I don't think that would have been a good pick there.
Well, look at his options though too. I mean, after that was Le'Veon Bell and then Cam Akers, David Montgomery, Antonio Gibson, but nobody's going to take Antonio Gibson in the third round. That's foolish. Dobbins later, Kareem Hunt in the fifth. But again, do you take Kareem Hunt in the third with Nick Chubb there? I don't. So I mean, risky. I guess it's hard to. You have to put yourself back in his shoes and kind of grading it on a curve a little bit there. You kind of look at it and go, yeah, it's Leonard Fournette. He's going to the offense with Tom Brady, and he's going to get a lot of carry. And Rojo sucks because he has sucked for years. So Leonard Fournette's going to get the job, and.
Yeah, but Ronald Jones has actually been serviceable this year. Like from what I've seen, he's at least a running back too. And if all you need is a second running back on your team, that's what you're going to get. Look at what I had to deal with. I had Akers and Dobbins and Moss. None of those guys have ever been a running back too. I would have loved to hit on Jones, or I guess Fournette when he hit, did all right for a little bit. But yeah.
Or DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, like he's finally coming into form.
Or
Pretty well.
Antonio Gibson.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's funny too, because James Robinson wasn't even drafted, but man, he's that guy that could have picked him up early enough. You should be a good team, but Jeff didn't want to wait any longer.
How many teams have had the first overall pick 2 years in a row? How common is that?
Not very.
Pretty unusual.
Well, the Browns do it a lot.
You're going for the record. You're going.
I know.
Well, this will be year number 2 with, overall first round pick. Probably going to end up with, I don't know, whatever, 16 picks within the first 10 rounds. Probably more than that.
Are you guys looking at this tight end list? Like, look at everything after, I guess, Godare. So, Ebron's okay, but O.J. Howard, Olsen, Herndon, Irv Smith, Ian Thomas, Jack Doyle, Gerald Everett, Dawson Knox. This is so bad for tight ends.
There's just not a lot of really great tight ends around.
I mean, I always feel like there's somebody that can come out from it, but this proved it this year. Like, I think
Where did Mike
needed someone solid.
Did Mike pick that Philly tight end pretty high?
I thought you picked him. You're talking about
Godare? I got the other one, the starter.
Ertz, yeah,
Ertz.
he did.
He picked Ertz in the second round.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the thing. If Whip would have just picked another running back or another wide receiver, his team would have been that much better.
Yeah, I know. If he grabs Gurley there, I'm probably not winning against him.
Yeah.
I want to say something here real quick. If you go down to the 10th round and you look at players that are starters or superstars or whatever, and there are 2 in the 10th round.
There's 3.
Claypool.
There's Anderson, Claypool, and Jefferson.
Anderson. Oh, Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually had a decent year.
Yeah. For that late in the draft, I would probably agree with that. But I think Chase Claypool and Justin Jefferson were 2 great fucking picks in the 10th round.
Chase Claypool is a great.
Because they were rookies. Rookies, so.
Yeah, but I mean, but even as rookies, looking up through the board, you had Akers, Dobbins, Moss, Gibson, DeAndre Swift. Let's see, wide receiver rookies that are out there. CD Lamb got picked before them.
Ruggs.
Is Jerry Jeudy a rookie? Is he a rookie?
Yeah. Jerry Jeudy. What's that?
Jerry Judy's a rookie, right? He got picked by you in the 7th.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
He's been actually pretty good the last couple of weeks. He's coming on. It's the thing with rookie. I hate picking rookies because even if they look great in college, a lot of times they get to the pros and they're like, "Oh, you mean I'm not the fastest person in the universe?" All of a sudden,
I know, right?
It's weird.
Rookies are tough to find the best ones. Like CEH started off really well, but now I don't know if you really feel comfortable with him as a number 2, right?
I hate that I traded for him now.
Right.
I'd rather not have made that trade, to be honest. In fact, both the trades I made sucked.
I put so much stock in Cam Akers and J.K. Dobbins and Moss. I've already cut Akers. Like, I'm holding on for Dobbins and Moss, but they're really just anchors on my team that they're dragging me down. Like, you have to get really lucky, like whoever got Justin Jefferson, Shamers did in the 10th round.
They let him go for a bit too, didn't they?
I think they did. Yeah.
I saw him on the waiver round. I saw him on the waivers a while back.
Yeah.
Going back to the tight ends, guess, there's first of all, yeah, I mean, if I had my choice between Zach Ertz, and I'm being dead serious and honest with you, if in the second round, if I'm going tight end there, I'm probably taking Darren Waller, just because Ertz has already got Godare behind him. Waller's proven it, and Waller's really good. But as far as like the rookies or the young ones that are coming up, I think, that you may look at it and say that some of the tight ends that were picked this past year in the draft might turn out to be pretty good. Like that Devin Asiasi from New England. I've got a feeling that kid's probably going to be all right. And I know I drafted and cut him, but that was a mistake on my part too, because rookie tight ends typically don't do shit. It's too hard to learn how to play, two positions in the NFL, right off the bat.
But you already had Jared Cook, so you
So
would
we got
take it.
Aussie. And then there's what's the guy's name? We just saw him playing up on, I think it was Monday night, for Chicago. He needs to buy a vowel in his name. Kmet, K-M-E-T.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he wasn't even drafted.
Yeah, he wasn't even. Yeah, they suck. But that kid could be a good one too. So anyway, my point is that the league could shift more towards tight end, so it's a little less top heavy moving forward. But I don't know.
I think you're right though about those rookie tight ends, because it's essentially playing two positions. It's almost like you're playing O-line and wide receiver, and being able to do that really well isn't something you learn overnight. There's not a lot of rookie sensation tight ends in my memory.
Yeah, that's why a lot of times they get pigeonholed into being a blocking tight end or a receiving tight end, because they're really good at one, but they just can't figure out the other. And it's rare to have like a Kelsey or a Kittle or a Waller or Mike Andrews or hell, even like a Mebron, or Jason Witten. All those guys, those are not common,
Well, yeah.
I'm looking at Scab's team. So he has CEH, Deshaun, and he was an auto pick team. So Amari Cooper, Devontae Parker, Keenan Allen, Hayden Hurst, Marlon Mack. That sucked because of week 1, but that's not bad to get in the 7th round.
I don't think the Marlon Mack pick was bad at that point. It's just the injury was unlucky.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good pick in 7th. I thought that was
I guess what I'm just trying to say is Scabs being a 3-7 team, and look, he has that T. Higgins really late. Brandon Ayuk, who's actually looked pretty good this year. I'm surprised to see like a team that it looks like he had a decent draft. They're 3-7.
The auto
versus
draft
a team like me where I had
was
Sutton who got injured, Cam Akers who sucked, Tyler Boyd's been all right, J.K. Dobbins is inconsistent, and I'm 5-5. It's just weird.
CEH was an auto pick in the 1st round.
No, I think he picked CEH and then sent it to auto draft the rest of the way.
Right.
That was his big woohoo.
That was his Mike Ditka light the cigarette and put on the dreadlocks wig moment right there.
I pretty much joined him because I burned a 1st round pick on CEH next year. So I'm in there. I'm right there with him.
All right. Well, hey, fellas, I'm sorry. I got to bounce pretty soon. So.
Very good. Gus, thanks for putting this together, man.
Yeah, no problem, y'all. Maybe next week we'll find a time to do this.
It was fun looking back at that draft board to see how things turned out. I mean, we know that because of the records and stuff, but it's kind of interesting to go back to see how we picked, what we picked, and what the team looks like now. My team looks completely different from what I drafted, and so does yours,
It's good to see for GMF of the year, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, fellas. I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks again.
All right. Later, guys.
Later, y'all.